From the BBR studios, it's Line Locked, where we talk about everything racing and a lot of bullshit.
I like bullshit.
You like bullshit?
Yeah.
I'm your host, Chris, and this is
Corey.
Corey, what are you doing?
I'm here.
Are you here? See, I was waiting for that.
I'm here.
Was that a better
here?
intro that time?
I think it was perfect.
Okay, all right.
Second time's a charm, Chris.
Hey, did you have you ever noticed, like, when you go out and you see all these Wi-Fi network names? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen any strange ones?
The best one is at the racetrack. I always see one that's Meat Wagon, or FBI Meat Wagon or something.
FBI Meat Wagon.
I don't know whose it is, but I always see it at the racetrack. What about you?
Well, I had my girlfriend had set up a new Wi-Fi account, and I set up her password and all that stuff. And she is a very big nerdy kind of person. She loves Jeff Goldblum. Okay. And so the name of the network is Goldblum Does Not Live Here. Just in case the neighbors see, if you ever see Jeff Goldblum in our driveway or her driveway,
he doesn't live.
He doesn't live there. So call the police. Call the police. Get him out of there.
Or at least call you to let him know.
Yeah.
And make sure Mary knows to have him pay a bill on the way out or something.
Yes. Pay all the bills.
That'd be great.
Hey, I'll be okay with it if he's over there and paid the whole house off. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. So we got the news.
Yeah.
Which button is the news?
This one, isn't it?
I think so. There we go. No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
This is the news with Corey.
And see that? 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10
All right.
seconds. You have to have that 15-second one.
I love it.
All right. So in the news, all we're going to talk about real quick is Hendrick Motorsports. They accomplished something this year that I thought was pretty cool. They've actually got 300 wins under their belt over the seasons that they've been racing as a team, which is a lot. The next best was Petty Enterprises at 268 Cup wins. So,
wow,
it's 300 is a big deal, and they actually made it to 301 this year. The total of 20 drivers has won cup races for them, which is cool. The other thing, which I didn't know, which I thought you guys might find interesting, is Hendrick Motorsports actually had an engine program before they were a team, and they actually have 500 wins of their engines out there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Well, you know why they got all the wins, right?
Why?
Because Ricky Bobby retired.
Is that what's up?
Yeah, that's why.
All right. Well, that whole engine program has accumulated to this year 506 National Series wins. So that's impressive. There's people out there. If we want to win, I think maybe we need to go to Hendrick Motorsports and get a motor made. What do you think?
Do they make drag motors?
I don't know. I mean, they're 800 plus horsepower, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough to get to 950 or 9, really.
Yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter. All naturally aspirated too,
so
right?
Maybe, and all naturally aspirated. Actually, they're naturally aspirated, but they're mechanical, not mechanical. They're electric fuel injection now.
Oh,
that happened 2 years ago. I think they went from carbureted to mechanical or electronic fuel injection. The only reason I know that is a local guy to us, Frank something. I can't remember his last name. He was the test car before they went to our electric fuel injection, and him and his group of people tested everything out and sent all their information to Holly, which is a Holly Dominator, I believe, is what they run. So it's kind of new. In the past 2 years, they went to that, which I thought that was pretty cool.
You know what those NASCARs don't have?
What don't they have?
Throttle stops.
But they do have restrictor plates.
Restrictor plates.
They kind of like an ET Genie. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have for the news, and the reason that's all I have for the news is because we have a very special guest.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be a trip.
Yeah, we're excited to have him, and I think we have some intro music for him. Don't we?
Let's try it right here. Right? Maybe. Oh, yeah.
There it is. Yeah. There it is.
This man needs no introduction.
None whatsoever.
4-time NDRL Pro 7.0 champion.
Woo!
It is none other than Rocketman Robbie Freels.
Yeah, you there, buddy? Is this thing on? How you doing, Robbie?
All right.
Doing good.
Now, we are very familiar with you, only because you've helped us a ton. So we're also familiar with you because we have a driver's interview, and we'll link it in the show notes below, of last year's championship. So we kind of learned about you. But let's start a little bit from the beginning, abbreviated. Where'd you start racing at?
1982, 81, I guess. Dad put one in Mom, so I won that race. That was my first one. And then after that, 1994 is when I started drag racing.
That's all that needs to be said, man. Nice. Thank you for joining the show.
That's all we needed.
It's a winner right there, man.
Oh my goodness.
That's number one. W.
Yeah.
Started off a winner, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, I guess we all did it at some point, huh? If you want us to be optimistic about it.
Yeah.
All right, but for real, after that nonsense, where did you start in the drag racing stuff? I mean, did you start in juniors and stuff, or?
I started in 1994 in junior dragsters.
Junior dragsters, and how old were you in '94?
What was that? 12.
12 years
12
old.
years old.
Started young then,
Yep.
pretty young anyway. And were you pretty successful with that program?
No.
Why is that, you think?
Because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. Now,
was
your
just-
dad doesn't come from drag racing lineage, right? He's more of the tractor pulling stuff, but
He drag raced a little, the street stuff, and then a little bit of the Windy Hollow stuff here locally, and then he went tractor pulling. Started with a little, like a single cylinder bush hog lawn tractor. And
a
worked his way
legit
up
lawn
to-
tractor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bush hog brand. They only made them like 3 years or something. So he just, tore it all to pieces and modified it. And he actually still owns it too.
So what caused him to want to put you into a junior dragster? Or were you just begging for it?
No, I wasn't begging for it. It was just they were just coming out. There's only like 2 years. They've only been around 2 years when I started.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a year. I don't even remember. But it was starting to get big at the time, and he was racing. So he said, "Hey, I'm gonna make hell on myself and have you go too." So that's what we did.
All right. So you did that 12 to how old were you before you started getting into the bigger stuff?
I was 15 making a few laps. And then when I turned 16, I was racing full time from then on.
And what was your first bigger car? Did you go to a dragster?
Dragster. I've always been a dragster guy from day one till I still got one.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I love driving one.
Mm-hmm.
They're easy, but yet they can be a handful at the right time.
Sure. What did you start out naturally aspirated, or did you go straight to a blower motor?
I had a naturally aspirated car for a long time. It was a big breakneck speed of like 16s. Not 16, but 16s in the eighth mile.
Yeah.
It was breakneck speed.
Yeah, that's quite a bit different than what you're doing nowadays. But still, I mean, when you're starting out, I'm sure that definitely.
Oh yeah, it was fast. I mean, 16s is still fast
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it. I mean, there is street cars doing it now, but what was that? 1996 or whatever? 98. I mean, that wasn't slow, but there was other faster stuff.
That was one thing that we talked about with Bruce, our last guest, about because he kind of started in the 90s and then kind of quit early 2000s and now coming back to it, about how easy it is to make that much horsepower than it was in the 90s, as far as reliable horsepower. And
I mean, the parts have just quadrupled in the what's the
reliability, strength.
Yeah, reliability. That's the word.
Yeah. And it's pretty wild. So what about that program? Were you starting to get successful then, or still not
in
knowing
the juniors? Going back a little bit, I did win a track championship with that. Won a few races with it. And then I started in the big car, and I won a race the first year ever driving, not having a clue what I was doing. Let go of a button, just run it down there. And I might pedal it. Might be before the finish line, might be after. I don't know. I was just
you were just there,
buddy.
And I assume that obviously there's a little bit of luck involved, especially
every bit of it.
Yeah, especially back then. And my trophy case is definitely not as big as your trophy case back there. And I think
this ain't all of them. This is just for the podcast.
Yeah, this is just there
you got yours down there, whichever direction it is. It's down there. I was like, I'm going to put mine up here.
Yeah,
so I got some willies and wallies.
But I tell you, you make me feel a little inadequate with yours. But it's still not as bad as what's over here.
No, there's nothing
over here yet.
No,
and we're gonna change that next year.
Have you looked on eBay, Chris?
Yes. I might find some bowling trophies.
All right, so let's try to stay on topic here. It's going to be a rough one with Robbie. I just know it.
Yeah.
All right. So you campaigned. You won one race your first year out.
First year out. Yeah.
And then
locally Super Pro race.
Was that a Windy Hollow or is that somewhere else?
It was.
Right on.
That was home. That's 30 minutes from the house every Saturday. That's where I was at. Everybody talked about partying and carrying on in their high school years and teen years. No, I was racing. I had no time for partying.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what kind of made you the man you are today, because you were so focused early. I mean, you're a hard guy to beat. I mean, it's period. And we'll get there. We'll get there. Well, this year, the last 3 races you were. But you're easy to beat when you can't get your shit started.
I was getting ready to say that last race was real easy.
Yeah. We'll bring that up here in a little bit.
Yeah, we will. We will. All right. So
we'll bring your cardio up too.
Yeah, I wasn't fast enough. Well, we'll get there because let me tell you my side of the story on that one. All right. At any rate, so you went there, you got one good win. Was the next season more successful, less successful, or
honestly, I don't know.
You don't remember?
I couldn't tell you.
So let's speed forward. Let's speed forward a little bit in your life to when you started being more successful, and then you started getting some of those trophies behind you.
I'm still waiting for that day to be more successful. Still waiting.
Yeah. Come on,
I found these on eBay. I ain't gonna lie. eBay and Marketplace.
All right, but for real,
really don't know. I run a Jeg super quick. It's a 1/8 mile bracket race, and like nowadays, they had a special sticker at the time, a 4-second club. I mean, that was from the 90s to early 2000s. That was, you got one of them stickers. That was pretty cool in my world, anyways.
Yeah.
Like especially around here, Dad had the fastest car around. It went 5.0s, 490s.
Wow,
and that was the fastest thing around. And we went to Chattanooga, Tennessee with Bo Bowles. And he was going 460, so we was just amazed. Dad's out there going 5.0s. I'm standing there watching. There's a stock suspension Mustang, went the exact same ET as my dad, 508. Wow. I'll never forget it. Wow. That thing just boogied down through there.
Yeah, but they're factory race cars. Place. Ford knew what they're doing when they built those things.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, there's Ford.
So you went super quick racing for a number of years, and you've told some good stories about that. I don't know if you wanted to go into any funny stuff that's happened during those years. I know we sat around one time. I think it was in Martin, Michigan, and you told some funny stuff about the time that you'd spent there. It sounds like a really fun time. The 470s racing.
It was a blast. We come in and everybody was off. Kind of got their little clicks here and there, and we just made fun of everybody. Is basically how we lighten the mood.
So nothing's changed.
Around, and Dad would be riding around on his 4-wheeler, kicking a guy's cones over as he had set up around his pit area. We just ride by, kick them all over.
Yeah,
they'd set them up. I'd be right behind him again, just knock them all down. They might like us. They may be mad. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but you're making waves regardless, huh?
Yeah, they knew we was there.
Yeah, right on.
But
all right, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say in the super quick, I've almost got the NDRL covered, but in the Jeg super quick, there was not a single person that hadn't seen my ass. No, Chris, not like that. I mooned everybody.
There's lots of pictures of you out there, and you're not bashful in all of them. So,
but I was what?
You were not bashful in any of them.
Oh no! I thought you said something else. But now that's where I learned to cut my teeth. Really, was on super quick racing. We traveled around, went to these tracks. What some people would hate them. They're rough, short, dark, guardrails, not walls. The stuff that people hate. That's where I learned to drive. And if you put me on a skinny, dark track, I will wear you out. But if you put me on a big, wide open, well lit track, I'm not even gonna let go. It's bad.
Well, and I tell you, that's the one thing NDRL does do is they make sure we're on those nice wide.
Yeah, on them wide, brightly lit tracks. Yeah, that's why I don't do so hot.
Yeah. Well, maybe we just need to put some steel guardrails up and
I feel at home then.
Yeah, have some fluorescent lights at the end, just to tell you where you stop at.
Grass patch in between the track.
Yeah, War at the Woods is where we need to go start racing at, huh?
Yeah, that's a little sketchier than what I'd be. I'd send it once in my drag.
Just give it a shot. Yeah. Right on. So you went through, which arguably the Jegs Quick Series. That's a pretty star-studded pack of people. From what I understand, I mean it's definitely not entry level racing, I guess is what I'm saying.
It's about like any big money race. You'll see some of these names in there. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and I've heard
it's pretty awesome.
I've heard a lot of guys come up that are pretty legit professional now that went through that series and talked very highly of it, and it's still going on, right? The super quick stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know what year they're on. 29, maybe 30 years strong now.
Wow.
So
all right. So you got over the super quick stuff, and then what did you do next?
I actually took a year off. I went racing 2, maybe 3 times, and that was a miserable summer.
Yeah, just financially, or just you just didn't?
No, because I didn't go. I just
didn't.
Dad had quit racing for a little bit, and I was like, "Well, I ain't going if you ain't going." Well, that I found out quick that sitting around wasn't for me. I had to go. Yeah. So I started back up in 2007, going full time by myself, 2 to 3 times a weekend, and then she's distracting me. Sorry. And then I've never quit since then.
What'd you start back with? Did you go back to the Jeg stuff, or did you?
I run local stuff for a long time, from 07, 08. I run every weekend, Windy Hollow, Hardensburg, and Bowling Green. Not every weekend, but you could find me in one of them places.
Yeah.
And then I started chasing points pretty hard in 2009 at Windy Hollow. And that's the year I won the championship there. That's my only Super Pro championship, and it was a good year. I changed cars in the middle of the year, which I don't like change, and I bought a brand new racecraft chassis car and swapped motors in the middle of the week, and then went back out the following weekend and just flat out was winning.
Yeah.
The first couple weekends of 2009, there was 4 races, and I won 2 of them, running up at 1, and then I was still in at the very first race. I got called off early to do. The street cars were down there spinning out or something, but we was fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then I'd win Friday night at Hardensburg, come to Windy Hollow, and I'd win that night. I mean, it wasn't like there was 5 cars or nothing. We're talking about 40 to 50 cars everywhere we went. I mean, it was just a good year.
It's impressive.
Yeah, some people just have them. It's just And you in particular have really good seasons. It seems like
I have
more often
ones
than
and
not.
I have duds.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I know that you're not unbeatable because everybody is, but you're a hell of a racer, dude. And as much time and effort as you put into it, I mean, you really deserve to have those wins. Other people just need to put more time in it, and take it more seriously, I suppose. All right, so when did you start with where we know you from, the Nostalgia Drag Racing League?
I did when was 2011 or 12, one of those 2 years, I believe. And 2011, I'm pretty sure. And that's just where I've been ever since. We bought the car I got and jumped right in 7.0, and that's where I've been sitting at ever since.
Yeah,
that's just what feels right.
What is the 8th mile times of that car, just to give it reference of what you were doing?
450.
450. So you're not terribly off of what the 470, 480s? Right on.
No. 447 to 451, depending on where we're at and how the temperature is.
Yeah.
But it's that's where it's happy at.
So you said, let's not even mess with this gas or this comp or 750. We're going straight to 7.0 racing.
Yeah,
about what it was. When did your dad? Exactly what it was. When did your dad get involved as well? Was it later
in the NDRL? He actually started before me in 2010, I believe. He was with it.
All right.
maybe 2010, I believe. Maybe, yep, or 9. Hell, I don't know. It's been a minute.
Has he always had that GTO, or did he do something else before that?
He's had in the NDRL, he's only had the GTO.
Okay.
But in other stuff, he's had dragsters, he's had door cars. You know, he's even got a pickup truck too now.
Yeah. Was it something farms, right? The gasser
Creek
pickup.
Island Farms. Yeah.
That's pretty cool too. And nice enough for some. I know at least in the past he's letting drivers, a couple drivers that I know, they broke their shit and let them pop in there and make some runs in the gasser
he's
class.
loaned out the truck and the Camaro that we have.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about. So you went in at 2011. Today's like 23, right? So there was at least a few years there that you weren't so successful, right?
Well,
the beginning of it.
My first NDRL race, I won.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then.
My first 7-0 race was the NPCA at Indy.
Yeah,
there was 3 7-0 cars showed up, 2 made first / final round.
Yeah,
and it was me and Buddy Hull is who it was.
Yeah,
you know, the top fuel driver, Buddy Hull.
Oh yeah, we know of him.
That was my first 7-0 race, and I won.
Wow!
And then I went to my next 7-0 race was NDRL, and at Bowling Green, Dad won 750 and I won 7-0.
Okay.
So that was probably one of the coolest days I had. That was Dad's first win in the GTO and my first win in the group.
And that's got to be tough to race your dad every time, and not both of you can get in the winner's circle each time when you're running the same class. So I bet that was pretty special to have that, your dad running 750, you running 7-0. But I'm assuming his ego got to him a little bit and said, my son can't run faster than me.
I know. He just decided he was going to build a different motor, and off to the town he went.
Yeah.
And it takes a pretty big motor to make that brick go down through there at 200 mile an hour.
Yeah.
It is not aerodynamic.
I don't disagree, but also I'm driving a taller brick, so I think I might have a little bit hurting a little harder, but I really want to try to go 750 at one point in time, but I just don't know if that little small block's got it in it. All right.
You better start drilling holes. You definitely need bigger tires for sure.
We got the problem solvers
or the third wheel.
Yeah, the problem solvers are sitting behind you right now on the camera. I've got some big Bubbas. They're 16-inch wide. No, it's behind you on the camera. But we're coming out bigger and stronger next year for sure.
I got you.
All right.
You got some run flats.
Yeah, that's it.
So I can't help but sit here and stare at your headset. Is that your headset for racing next year?
Maybe.
It's
$5, man.
Is that the color scheme you're going with? Little baby blue?
Mint green. It's
mint green. Okay.
Yeah. It was either this or something that had to light up cat ears.
Yeah, I would have added that. That would have been a lot of fun.
And I went back to the store yesterday to get those, but it had another cord that had to plug in. And I was like, I'm not having cords everywhere.
I'm out.
I almost pulled the trigger on them.
All right, let's talk about your first year of the 4 that you've won the championship. How'd that play out? Do you remember?
2015. Yeah, I remember. That was the first year I had Crowler on board. Mm-hmm. They had been, not to toot my own horn, but they'd been after me for 2 years trying to get on the car. And we didn't know what to expect. Dad had sponsorships before with some people, and he said it's just a lot of hassle. But I talked to the guys at Crowler, and it was simple. I mean, they said, we'll do this, take care of you on this, and off to the races you go. I mean, that I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, that's
them
a big
guys
sponsor.
really helped out my program big time.
Yeah, that's a big name, big sponsor, and great products.
Yeah, we both.
I'm happy
Crowler.
to have them on board too.
Yes. We both use Crowler in both of our motors, and we're real happy with the product.
And we appreciate it.
and when I called him out, I said, Robbie told me to call y'all. I make sure I give back to the people I like. So,
but it was a good year. I don't remember everything exactly, but I know I was in a final of the Hot Rod Reunion. So I either won or runner up. I don't recall. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But it was a good year. We had a championship. So, I mean, cannot complain about that at all.
No. Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to have a sponsor and win a championship. That was my first championship with the NDRL after having three or four runner-ups.
Wow. So you're always in the mix then, for the most part.
It haunts me. I've led the final race those first 3 years, and we go in. I either have a breakage, get passed in qualifying, and get rained out, or I had a timing system malfunction. Got hoodooed on that bunch.
Got local by the homies then, huh?
No, the final race was actually in. I'm not going to say where it's at, but it was in Michigan. It's not 131.
Yeah.
It's anyways.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, they had a hanging photo cell. It said I went like 842, 60 foot, and went like 679 and I went through the finish line the first time sideways because I was on the brakes that hard.
Wow.
Because I was like, I am smoking this dude.
Yeah.
So I was on the brakes hard, went through sideways. His wind light comes on. I'm like,
what the hell?
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get down there and have my little pity party, come get the time slip and come back. So that's not right. I talked to Jason Becker. I said, this is wrong. I said, I would like a rerun. We talked to the guy I run. He agreed. We went back up there, exact same thing again. Except for I didn't go through sideways. I went through smoking the tires probably, and still no wind light. And at that point in time, my heart broke, and I just let the car bounce. It was pitiful. I didn't care at the time. I was like, if it wads up, I'm done. I don't care anyways. But I did care. I would care.
Yeah. You know,
I was heartbroken.
That is one thing that I can say about you is, regardless winning or losing, the emotional reaction that comes from you. I mean, you are invested, and you know that's probably what it takes to win, is to be so upset when you lose and so happy when you win. But you have a reaction. You know,
I do. I am not a good loser whatsoever. Not one bit. I hate losing. You know, if you see somebody that's a good loser, that's a real loser right there. I'm not.
Well, damn it, I'm a real loser then, because I laugh about it.
I try to be humble when I win. I don't.
Yeah.
I do yell and carry on before I get out of the car, and when I do, I don't want to celebrate too much in front of the other guy. I might fist pump. And when my bunch get down there to get me, I might throw hands up in the air and hug, yell. But I try not to make too much in front of the other people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
I know how it feels when you get beat.
Yeah, that hurts. Just
and I don't want somebody down there rubbing it in my face, so I try not to. But when I do lose, I'll go congratulate them, and then I have my fit. I mean, I throw, I cuss, yell. It's pitiful.
Yeah, well, but again, it's the yin and yang of the sport. Is if you need to be, you have to be that emotional and so invested to make it worth it, as far as when you do win. But also on the flip side of it, it hurts terribly when you lose. I know the feeling. I just don't allow myself to, whenever I actually won my one compared to your 30,000 trophies,
back
there was a lot of excitement inside that cab. There's a YouTube video on there.
I believe it.
I was just super pumped. But as soon as I got out, it was just another day. It was pretty humbled about it, And I don't know. I think personally, because even in school, I didn't play any sports real competitively. I was mainly there just for girls and whatnot. But there's definitely a winner's mindset that you and a lot of other guys with our league have. That you can tell, because as much as nice it is to win, and you see the winning and the excitement, you really know who has that winner mindset is when they lose, and you could see the amount of frustration and pissed offness. Because that's, to me, that's at least outside looking in, that is a far greater reaction than when you actually win. Especially for somebody that wins a lot, as you do.
I try to have my fits down there towards the end of the racetrack where it's mostly just other drivers. I mean, there's not like spectators or kids or anything, except for mine. But I try to compose myself once I get back to the trailer. I might say something to myself or kind of shuffle around and, just have my little pity party.
Yeah,
just leave me alone for a minute. I'll get over it eventually. But
When I talked with Jared Bradshaw on a future Blood Brothers racing video, he had a driver's interview on that side of it. He was talking about the times that he got upset, and we had mentioned about sometimes you got to really look at who's watching you, spectator wise, kids wise, and stuff. Because a lot of these guys kind of look up to you. And we're not like some NPK stars or Clay Milliken or something like that, but these guys are probably the kids that come watch us. This is probably as close as they're going to get to a lot of that atmosphere. Exactly. And if they want to be this, you got to have a decent front where at least the trailer door needs to be up when you start throwing shit, type of thing.
Like I said, I try to compose myself when I get back to the trailer because I know kids are walking around, and if I see a kid, I'm like, hey, they come up, look at the car, and I say, do you want to get in? Do you want a sticker? Do you want this or that? Mm-hmm. I just try to really get them involved and let them know. Mm-hmm. And earlier this year was at Indy, and it was probably one of the coolest things I'd heard. Some kid was walking over to the trailer, and he was looking. They was taking pictures. I said, you want to get in? He got in. We went on going. Well, I was headed up to the finals. I know it wasn't, not the finals, 4 cars. And I was headed up there around the corner, and this 2 or 3 guys and a little kid was walking across there. And I heard the little kid say, hey, it's the Rocketman. And brother, you talking about, I was like, that's cool. Somebody knows who I am. Yeah. But he probably forgot the time he got in the car and took a nap.
I tell you what, that makes me smile so much just thinking about that feeling.
I mean, that really brightened up my day. I went up there and lost, but at least he wasn't there to see it.
Past his bedtime. As far as he's concerned, you're still a winner.
But, I was talking about being a bad loser. I'll tell on myself. We was at Martin, Michigan. Drove 9 hours, got up there, lose first round. Just got out, drove. I seen the guy was driving off from me, and I said, well, I can't follow him through. And by the time I picked my foot up to start pedaling, he put her in park, and I just watched him. And then he bumped one time and put like half a wheel on me. I said, look, I'm a duck. So I get down there, and she hands me the time slip. I race in my boots I slip on, and I had my tennis shoes in my hand, and there was a fence. I done had my fit, and I seen that fence. So I started hitting the fence with my shoes. My feet slipped out, and on my ass I went. So there I sat on the ground, pouting. And I just sat there and changed my shoes like a little 2-year-old. Was I embarrassed? Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife said she was.
Yeah.
She don't count.
Yeah. I mean, it like we were just saying, it's just when you lose, that emotion sometimes outweighs what that winning actually feels like, because you're that close. Well, in that particular case, losing first round is like the worst thing because, 9-hour drive and you're just done. We were first round losers then too at, I think, Martin, Michigan, right? Both of us? Both of us first round.
No. Did I win? Or was that no? I was St. Louis. I won.
So one of the Bruce, he in his little our last guest, in his little narrative thing he wrote on the email that you never responded to. He wanted to be introduced. He wanted to be introduced as the 3,000th time first round runner up.
Yes.
Which is perfect. We end up not using it because he's just joking, but I thought that was funny. It is what it is. It takes a lot of first round losses in order to figure out what you're doing. And especially with me and Chris is a little bit better than I am because he's pretty good at just staying consistent with his number. I always want to go faster. Yeah. And I never get that bug out of me. And I'm always trying stuff. I need to quit. This last race for me anyway, I was running 9.0, 9.0, 9.0. There's no reason to move around with it, but it is what it is.
850 and 8.0 to go.
That's where well, the 8.0 would be tough. There's no other competition in my class with 8.0. There's just not that many cars to do it. 850, there usually is a couple cars. So that's what we're doing next year. All right, let's go back to you.
Okay.
So, the first championship, the second one was what year? So that was
2018.
18 was your second. So how'd that one go? Do you remember?
Well, not all of it, but I do remember most of it. The let's see, we had 6 races. I won 4, runner up at 1, and 4 cars at the other, and not in that particular order.
Just that was the numbers that got you there.
Yep. You know, 4 wins out of 6 is pretty good. That's like Jackson territory.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
And then a runner up and a 4 cars. So I mean, that was even with I won a race. I broke a motor at Martin, Michigan. You know, we're 8-9 hours away from home. My Spire's sitting in the garage. We make a call. The motor's there the next morning. We've up at 7. We had my old motor out at about midnight, and my new one was set back in at 7 and fired up at 10 o'clock.
So somebody came from your shop and then drove a motor all the way up there to swap it out.
Yep.
That's pretty wild. Now, I helped you. Go ahead.
I broke the motor. I was the first car out, first pair, first qualifying lap in 7-0. They run reverse order that weekend.
Yeah.
Slung the rod out of it in a burnout. Man. I was like, oh, God.
All that effort.
I'm walking through the staging lanes like, who will offer me a car?
Yeah.
I'm looking and looking. I'm like, I can't ask Jeffrey. I mean, he's chasing me. I can't ask him for a car. I can't ask, and there's nobody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder, would Jared be willing to give up his car for me to, but his car would swallow me up whole. It's a large car.
Yeah.
And we just got on the phone and called Jared's brother. Jared's brother said, yeah, tell me where it's at and how to get it loaded, and I'll be there. And sure enough, he showed up.
That's how the sport is. I mean, I've found that a lot of people are just willing to go above and beyond to help other racers.
Yeah.
And especially your family. And we've had this discussion about your dad, how much he's really helped Corey in knowledge department and, the blower help and all that stuff. And it's just, to me, it's just really incredible how it all transpires. You guys definitely, that whole family, you and that whole family, definitely give a lot of guys something to look up to. This is how this sport is supposed to be meant to be ran. And even if it's your direct competitor, if there's something you can give for him to get into the next round, even if it's directly against you, you give it, because at the end of the day, whoever's better is going to win. It's got nothing to do with anything else. If you're better at the tree, if you're better at finish line driving, you're still going to win. You're racing yourself essentially. But it's the family atmosphere is just amazing. It's a great thing about you and your all's family. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do a little sponsor segment, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish up with Robbie for Reels. Rocketman. Do you need an engine built right for your car? Take it from us. Call Performance Automotive in Bethalto, Illinois. Whether it's a small block, big block, Chevy, Ford, or even a diesel. Call Mike or Gordon. These guys are guys that you can trust. That's Performance Automotive, and tell them Line Lock sent ya. All right. We're back here with Robbie Freels, and we appreciate that sponsor this week, Performance Automotive. Bethalto, Illinois. Fantastic group of guys. Yep. Make sure you call them.
Some good guys.
And make sure you call them for your next performance engine, or just a chit chat, because I'm sure they like chit chatting. Yep, absolutely. They know their stuff. Maybe they don't like chit chatting. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Call them if they answer great. Yes. Maybe they'll quit answering you. So we're back with Robbie, and we just got finished up with his second championship with the NDRL, and now we're going to go into his third. Remember your third at all? Because that was just last year.
No, man, it's just I really don't.
No.
I really don't.
All right. Good conversation.
Yeah, winners take winners. Let's talk about this year then, because you got to know this year.
I remember some of it.
You remember enough
some of it out.
Yeah. Let's talk about the first 3 races.
We started off pretty strong. Qualified number 1 3 times in a row. So that was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody had done it before. I was really wanting to go all of them, but I qualified second at 2 of them.
Yeah. So Jackson,
I got close.
So Jackson says he doesn't like to qualify first because of the bye and everything. Do you have to deal with that?
Or they're laddered. It's better for them.
We're laddered.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah. Jackson's not laddered.
Low qualified. No, not until later range.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
sometimes number one qualifier will get to buy first round, sometimes not. It might come second round. It just depends on how the ladder falls.
Yeah, but regardless, you're going to be up against the least qualified guy in the ladder. So even if you don't get to buy the first round, you still are, there's a good shot at a car that is having a difficult time getting to 7-0, be able to race them.
Yeah, and sometimes that difficult getting to 7-0 is because they're too fast.
That's true. That's true.
It ain't because they're having mechanical problems or traction problems.
Yeah.
They're having can't slow it down problems.
They're on the underside.
And they're able to drive the finish line on you. So that's a different.
It's a hard situation to be in sometimes. You're like, man, this guy's going to be too fast.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about that in the past about how I assume with your racing that it's probably a little easier because you kind of race the same people over and over and over again. What's the turnout in 7-0 on a normal average weekend?
This year we had a higher number. I say we're at 15 to 16.
Yeah.
Average, probably. And then usually the Nostalgia Nationals and Norwalk usually draws our biggest 7-0 crowd.
Yeah.
And usually we'll go 5 rounds, maybe 4 rounds usually throughout the year.
Yeah.
And we'll have to go 5 rounds at those 2 events.
So just even saying that, when your competition, you've probably raced 75% of them. Pretty consistently, kind of where they're going to be at the track, on the track when you're going down.
Honestly, I don't remember.
You don't?
The smarter person would know. No, man. A lot of people have a game plan before they get in the car.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down here and do this, do that.
Yeah.
That bites me in the ass
maybe
every
that's
single time.
Your key to success.
I make it up on the fly. I get down there and I'm like, do I need to pedal? Shit, it's too late. I done passed the finish line. Wind light on. Well, that was lucky.
Yeah.
In the next round, I'm like, I'm going to run it all the way out. Womp, 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 womp. Whoop, I forgot to run it out.
Yeah. Well, still wind lights on, though. So
yeah, I just make it up as I go.
Yeah.
If I go in with a game plan, no,
Corey, you got burned on that one.
Yeah, then that's what we were kind of discussing here is, with at least with what we race, with 50 plus cars, it's hard to even remember the one guy that you're about to race, where he's supposed to be at on the track. And we actually have quite a bit more time. I run 9.0 right now, you run 7.0, so I have 2 seconds more time to think about it. So if I had stuff written down, like a guy like Sam Patrick, for instance, where he knew where he was supposed to be at on the track, it would help you. But then again, I kind of like your mentality is you run your own race. Right. And I think honestly, at least for us in ProGas, I think that's going to have to be our approach in the future. You really can't worry about where they're supposed to be at because every car is a little different. They shift different, where they may mile and higher more, or on the front end they get it. Whichever, it's never going to be the same race each time. So, it's an interesting thing.
Yep.
So your first 3 races, right? You won all 3. Number one qualifier.
No, number one qualifier, and I think I lost at 4 cars at the first race, and then won the next 2. Which was the Nostalgia Nationals and Norwalk.
Yeah. And then what happened the last 3 races?
Let's see. Went to Martin, Michigan. No, St. Louis was next, wasn't it?
Yep.
After Bowling Green.
Yep.
What did I do at St. Louis? Second round? I don't even remember. See, the losing ones don't stick out. I don't remember. St. Louis, I don't remember. First round, she says. Norwalk, no, not Norwalk. Martin, Michigan, first round, which that's when I showed my ass and fell on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bowling Green is when Corey didn't keep his cardio up and get to me in time.
Okay, so let's talk about what happened. I
can tell you what happened. Here's my version.
You go ahead, and I'll rebuttal with what happened on my side.
Okay, they started the car. They run the cars in front of me. They told us to start. I pull in the water. The guy, my opponent, does his burnout. Well, they stay stopped. Okay, shut it off. Well,
a car ran off the end of the road.
He went long.
Yep.
They forgot his parachute pin, so he went long. They shut us off. They get him pushed back off the track. They says, fire him up. My opponent fires his car up. It's no big deal. Won't go to hit mine. Nothing. I mean, it's going a 16 volt, and as soon as I turn the mag on, it goes to 9, and it's just struggling. He does his burnout, and I was like, he's done did too. I ain't gonna hold him up real long. We're trying and trying. Jackson, he's my go-to guy, and he turns around and yells, "Does anybody have a jump box? Anybody got a jump box?" And from my vantage point, all I heard was crickets.
So here's
no, or kick rocks, nothing.
I was there with you because we had a GoPro on your car at the time. And I'm hoping that didn't give you bad juju in some way.
Yeah.
But when he asked for a jump box, it's like, I have a jump box, but I can't tell you for sure that I have one. I didn't want him to wait, not knowing for sure that I had one. We usually keep one in our golf cart. So I started heading that direction to see if I had one before I said, "Hey, I've got one," or something. And as I'm running back, I see him staging up and you already out of the car. Yeah. So, maybe I should have said, "Hey, I think I have one," but I didn't want to do that and then burn him down and then feel like an asshole. So that's the reason I didn't,
Technically, I have 2 minutes.
Yeah. You didn't want to push him that hard.
Yeah, right. And he done did 2 burnouts. That's extra fuel for that guy.
Yeah.
And, I was like, this deal's wrapped up. I am the 2023 champion. They can't pass me. I'm not going to hang this guy out. I'm just going to let him go.
You did the right thing.
He went out there. It was a sportsman thing, maybe not the right thing from my standpoint. If I'd waited 5 more seconds, you would have been there. But I was just thinking, it's not fair to him. I wouldn't want nobody to do it to me. But then again, I would have waited. Not saying he didn't wait. He got the broke signal. He put her in and went. And then he went out there and shook the tires, and
you could have got him.
Yeah.
So I change things with how I do things. Is like every morning when we get up and get going, I'm going to have a checklist of the things that are in the golf cart to say that I have this here, it's charged, everything's ready. So if anything arises like this and somebody yells for one, I can say I got one, and to be able to, so they can do their waiting or whatever's got to happen. But again, at the time, it's something we normally keep on the golf cart. I just didn't know for a fact that I had one, and I didn't want to hang him out.
Understand? I ain't blaming you. It ain't
you're blaming me. I hear you. Went dead. You're blaming me. I hear you.
So are you changing how you do things now? Or are you going to have one handy? Or no?
Probably not.
No, I didn't think so.
Hey, he's not even replacing the battery.
No, probably not. I went back to the trailer, that baby fired right
up. He's not even replacing it. So you run that 16 volt stuff, right?
16 volt battery.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like
XS. It's night and day.
XS has a 20% off Black Friday.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
I would consider
brought
it.
Up.
I would consider it.
And they are an NDRL sponsor. That's why I use them.
Yep, they're fantastic. I want to switch to 16 volt. Chris really needs to switch to 16 volt because he doesn't have an alternator. I need to, but I don't have an alternator that does 16 volt, so I would be buying 2 things.
I don't have an alternator.
I know.
I guess I need one.
Well, but you don't have to drive back or drive to the staging lanes, and I don't technically have to either. Well, I don't know. The rules are kind of a little sketchy in pro gas. Like you're supposed to not be pushed back or forward, or, up to the lanes, but a lot of people do. The faster ones do. But I bought a 10-gallon tank for a reason.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this. Couple questions. One of them is you have 2 twin boys and a daughter. I noticed here recently your twin boys were doing some Hot Wheels racing. Power Wheels racing.
Yeah.
And
everybody races Hot Wheels, man. Hell, I still race Hot Wheels.
My bad. And I noticed their car was actually not like a Hot Wheel or a Power Wheel that you could buy.
Yeah,
so something you
was
built?
iffy on the rules.
Okay.
We asked about it before, and they said absolutely not. And I said, well, we're still going. They're either going to let us make exhibition or just say absolutely not.
Yeah. Now, is that a plastic tire that's on there?
No, that's a real junior dragster slick on the back.
Oh, nice.
Oh man,
it's got 2 12-volt XS batteries on it.
Yeah,
and they are sponsored, and it's like a 23T body on it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's real cool.
And I think it's like a Rascal motor. The mobility scooter.
Yeah.
I think it's a
full custom car.
On it.
Full custom car. Yeah. Are both of them driving it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
they both do.
So they have obviously taken an interest in drag racing. So you're probably going to try to push them into a little junior stuff when they get to age.
Well, The juniors, there's 2 juniors in the garage waiting. My
Really?
old car that I started with.
Wow.
And when we found out we was having twins, Dad took off to Missouri and bought one. He found it on Racing Junk. He said, I'll be back
That
tomorrow.
is a grandpa right there.
I cannot
Yes.
wait to see them go through the journey of that. That's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, right now, I've actually still got my old go-kart.
Yeah.
And Dad got it out, got it running. And they like that electric one better because it's quieter.
Okay.
They're being little sissies about it. But we have had them on the go-kart, and they have to wear their headphones.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But, you
Ear
know,
protection.
Yeah, because it's too loud. I'm like, it's Briggs and Stratton, man. Just ride on. I rode that thing for years without even a helmet, and I got the scar to prove it.
Let's be honest. In the future, I'm sure electric will be more of a thing, and there'll be rules and stuff to
I'm
keep
gonna
tracks
hit
around.
sign off if you're talking about electric.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got an old Dodge truck out there, buddy. I roll smoke just for shits and giggles. I go up in the driveway, and the boy was like, "Make smoke." I roll the cold. Roll the cold.
They love it then. They love it
Yeah.
loud then. All right. My other question is, tell us, like, one of your years of racing, what is a really special moment that you've had? You know, either with you and your dad, or you and your wife, or something that sticks out as a really special moment.
Well, that my first NDRL race when I won with my dad. That one really sticks out.
Because you both in the winner's circle.
Right.
I tell you, go ahead.
That was his first win. Like I said earlier with the GTO, and my first win with the bunch, and it was a hot day at Bowling Green like normal, and it was just I don't know, it was pretty emotional.
Yeah. An outsider watching you guys race together, a special moment for me watching you guys race was I can't remember what racetrack it was, but you both qualified 700 with an 8 or a 9 or something like that.
No, sir. 703 or 7 flat with a 3 and 7 flat with a 4.
Yeah, that's what it
number
was.
1. He was number 2.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was really special to watch, and the excitement and the energy in the crowd that was watching it was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's forced to be side by side, and his car has it has fits. It'll go out there, either shake the tire or drive to the one way or the other. But that pass was just on a string. I mean, we leave, and I'm just watching him. He's right beside me. I'm like, what are you doing over there, Dad? And we get down there to the finish line, and he's like just barely out in front of me, and then poof, he's got both chutes out and going backwards. And there I am going, what the hell's happening? He ain't supposed to be beside me.
Yeah, that was really cool to watch. And that's not the only time that's not as tight as that was, but there's a lot of times you guys race. It's a pretty close race. And you know, I've heard him come back to the pits and tell him I smoked his ass.
I don't even. You're talking about. I try not to be that way in front of people down there. I don't even get out of the car. I hear him back there bragging. I smoked his ass. I smoked his ass.
Yeah, I love it, man. Your dad.
And I get out and I'm like, yeah, because you went 680 something. Of course you smoked my ass. I'm going 7-0.
You smoked me, against the rules here. It's not fair. No, it's real. It's a real honor to know your dad, and knowing the history he comes from with the tractor pulling days and him being in the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Correct.
I mean, he's an amazing guy, and he's very humble about it. And it's very telling for us, because to know you, and although we cut up and whatnot, but there's a lot of him in you, as far as being a good sportsman and being a nice guy and offering up what information you got. A lot of times when you ask Robbie a question, he'll be like, I don't know.
I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, but at least you're honest about it,
Oh, yeah.
And then
I make small judgments, and if it's something big, I'm like, hey, what do you think, Dad? He's like, I don't know, it's your car. Do what you think. I'm like, well, I'll swing for it this way.
Yeah.
And
a great
anything else, he's like, yeah, let's do this. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, a great example of this is something that you did for me, even though it was Pat that ultimately made the decision. But I was buying a new blower, and I showed you a picture of what I was looking at buying, and evidently at some point you showed your dad, and then your dad wanted to tell me what I was getting, and you called me up and said, hey, Pat wants to talk to you, and that meant a lot to me, just because you didn't have to do that. You could have allowed me to make that mistake myself and learned that tuition, but he knew that what I was doing, And it meant a lot to me that you guys reached out and fixed. Not I want to say fixed. You made me go a different direction, and it worked out for the better. Because regardless, I would have been doing the same thing. It would have just added more work to me if I would have went with the one I was originally going to buy.
Well, my alternative motive was to sell you a blower.
Yeah, and that didn't work out only because you didn't have the one I was looking for. I needed something striped, with the methanol and whatnot. But
if you want to go 750, I got something for you.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know if I got what it needs to do it.
Crowder does.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
I know.
Sponsor plug.
Yeah, there it is. That actually leads us into the next segment of this. Who do you want to thank? Or actually, do you have anything, Chris?
No, I'm good. Who do
Chris,
you
come
want
on,
to
Chris.
Yeah,
Come on.
you
You
got
got
any questions?
something, I know.
thank? Okay, well,
You've got something. I know.
yeah. How often do you not wear your hat?
I got married in a hat, buddy.
Yeah, same here.
just like Burt Reynolds said, I take my hat off for one thing and one thing only. Yeah.
I do want to say though, one thing that I've noticed more than anything with you is, and we kind of touched on it, is I see you and your family. Your wife and your kids are always there at the track, and that is very admirable for me, and that I respect that, and I see that you're a great dad when you're with them. We watch and we see how you interact with them and everything. Those kids are gonna grow up with a great dad.
Yeah, you're instilling good morals in them, and it's
I appreciate that.
It's fun to watch them grow up.
Yeah.
As much frustration that you have, I could tell. Those kids run wild.
There's a lot. I've chipped some teeth over them.
Yeah.
So how are you going to handle them running juniors? Are you going to be able to keep a full program yourself with your focusing on
That's
them?
where mom comes in hand.
Yeah.
She's going to take them junior racing. I'm going to go race myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I bet she could. As much as she knows about the sport, I bet she'd probably do a pretty good job of it.
After she gets the dishes done, you jump right on in there.
I get that dishwasher load first.
I kid.
And speaking about that, my mom, she used to take me racing by herself. And
wow.
Dad, he was running the super quick, and they travel pretty decent. And so mom would we'd stick my junior in the back of the pickup, throw the tailgate up with a rag on it, strap it down. I'd take off with my 1 gallon or 2 gallons of alcohol and an air tank, which I never checked the tires until I got in a big car.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but that's what she did.
Yeah. That's respectable.
I
Yes.
appreciate her for that.
Absolutely.
I got a picture somewhere, just me and her in the winter circle picture, I believe.
Yeah. So that was one thing
like 13 or 14-year-old with a Copenhagen skull pulling circuit fire jacket. I was the only manufacturer with that fire jacket. I guarantee it.
So that was one thing I wanted to mention. I never did write down, but you're kind of at the point of winning jackets that you're just going to have to start giving them away to homeless people or something, because you're going to start running out of people to give them to.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping these boys hurry up and grow so I can give them some.
Yeah. You don't want to buy something that they're not going to fit into next year.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've got, speaking of the jackets, in the Jegs, if you finished in the top 10, you got a big leather jacket, which is nice, but they're bright yellow, white and black. They're the Jegs colors.
Yeah.
They're pretty obnoxious, but I wear mine because I'm an obnoxious kind of guy.
Yeah.
But, then I've got the NDRL jackets, but the Jegs, I've got 3 of those jackets. I've got my first 2 NDRL jackets, a Windy Hollow jacket. I gave my wife last year's jacket, and I gave mom this year's jacket.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I could tell how special that was for her too. I thought that was really cool that you did that.
yeah, nobody even my wife, Kateri, and Bob Eaker are the only ones that knew I was doing the jacket for my mom.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody, any of my friends, nobody. I didn't want anybody to accidentally slip it out or anything.
Smart move.
I knew she would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is the time you get to tell us about whoever you want to thank, sponsors, family, all that things.
Well, I've got to come off and thank Crowler. They jumped on board in 2015, and I really appreciate all their help that they've done. Hal Cano Chassis. Hal's a good personal friend of mine. He built the car brand new in '94, and it's been passed around like a buffet bar. It's just it's been passed around. It's had a lot of drivers in it, and I've been lucky enough to be in it now. And I can't thank him enough for building a good car. That thing will work absolutely anywhere at any time. The Cypress Creek Farms, they come in board last year to help out, get up and down the road with fuel, and we really appreciate them. My mom and dad, they've done a whole lot, so much for me since day one, literally. They helped me.
Since the day you won that race.
Yeah, that my first race I won. I appreciate you, Dad. Appreciate you, Mom, for taking it. Took one for the team. And then my wife, she puts up with all this nonsense that I do. I live it and breathe it. That's all I know. Is all I can do. I am not. I don't woodcraft. I am not a woodcrafter. I dabble with metal because if you screw that up, you can weld it back into place. But other than that, she puts up with a lot for me for doing this, and I appreciate her for all that. The boys, Miles and Houston, Stella, the boys, they really enjoy going racing. They always want to bring home a trophy. Houston gets pretty upset if we don't bring home a trophy. He takes losing about like I do. You can't talk to him for at least 45 minutes if we didn't bring home a trophy. Wow. Miles, he's like, that's all right, Daddy. You can do better next time. Thanks, son. I don't want to hear that shit. But I appreciate you. Stella, she ain't got a clue what's going on. She's 2-year-old. Yeah. She's just riding around smiling. Yeah. She just loves eating snacks, man. Yeah. That's all she knows. Yeah. Jackson, I couldn't do anything without him being there. He is my right-hand man. He's always there. His fiance, Riley, she helps out tremendously. She watches the boys and Stella while we're out racing, and Kateri's backing me up. Let's see, I wrote some stuff down. Tommy Patrick, he has come along and helped Dad. He used to help Dad in the tractor pulling days, like that. They was sidekicks up and down the road every week, all week long. Dad couldn't do the pulling without him, and now we've got him going with us racing, and it's really turned the program around with Dad, so he can focus more on the tuning and what needs to be done while Tommy takes care of the car. And all the people at Freels Motorsports, every one of them, all the other drivers, the family members in that, all of the Bowles family racing, they come in. You guys come in and take care of us, help out Mike Ryan and their bunch, all the NDRL. I mean, I got to thank all of them because they all come in and help out. Jeffrey Sanborn Racing, he's helped out a lot with stuff. I call him for advice on something or just chew the fat about something. And then we get talking about something serious, and then we're back to bullshitting again. But he's been there and helped out a lot too with some stuff. Mm-hmm. That's good. I appreciate every one of them. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't get up and down the road or even down the racetrack.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, maybe we had the music started coming up on
ASPCA.
No, it's like the Oscars when they start cutting you off with the music.
My
bad. No, we're just kidding, man. We're just kidding.
No, beautiful,
yeah,
man.
That's good.
We'd like to thank all those individuals as well for making you who you are, because this has been a really fun episode. And
hey, do you have a would you rather for us?
Oh,
I do have a would you rather. I had to write it down. All right. Would you rather eat a wet loaf of bread or a pint of blended fish?
Oh, wet bread.
Wet bread.
A wet loaf of bread.
That's fine. I could do that.
Have you ever ate wet bread?
Well, I mean, I've had greasy bread. That's probably similar, right?
No, it's flavorless.
I think that the fish part would get me. I think it's the smell.
The wet fish. Well, or was it wet bread?
It's wet bread, blended fish.
Blended fish. It's so you drink it.
You drink it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm bread all the way. What about you, Robbie?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Have you had both?
I might dip the bread into tuna.
Oh,
yeah. Well, and that's a good thing. I've eaten tuna. That's pretty much blended fish, right? That's not bad.
And you could eat it raw too.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still a bread guy, I guess.
I don't know, man.
Because
That
I'll be
bread-
honest with you, if I'm at the firehouse and I'm real hungry in the middle of the night and I got nothing to eat, I'll raid camp.
You go down and wet your bread?
I'll go find just bread and just eat bread. yeah, I mean, that's what I got.
Throw some water on it.
Next time you do that, wet it down.
Yes,
All right, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm going to do it.
Wet it and fold it in half and eat it that way.
I'm going to dip my bread in, like I'm dipping Oreos in water.
Yes.
Hey, have you guys put on a link yet to go to podcast?
No, but
podcast@yahoo.com to get your
Gmail. And I tell you what, this will be the last time we
This will
talk
be it.
about it.
Yeah.
If you guys want a Christmas ornament, go to
Right there.
email us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com.
That's a
This
great
is the
shot.
last time you're going to be able to do it, though, because we are sending these things out the first week of December.
Yes.
All right.
Wow.
I appreciate
That's a
that
great
I
plug.
had this on the tree and the wife saw it.
Yeah,
So now,
he
now it's
he
here.
texted me a picture. I said, I ain't gonna last in such a nice tree. It's too tacky. But put it on your toolbox.
That's right.
All right, Robbie, man, we appreciate the hell out of it. It was a lot of
Guys,
fun.
we appreciate you.
We are
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna probably bring you up next year before the start of the season. Tell us what your plans are. But until then, again, thank you very much. And we can't honestly we can't thank you enough. But there's so much for your family's done for us. We wouldn't be where we're at. And then just you being in a good mood all the time and giving me advice. I just can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to add is I am the first 4-time champion and the first back-to-back.
Okay.
I've been in 7-0. I've been the second 2-time champion, the second 3-time champion. So I'm actually the first to do 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Robbie ain't bragging
I
about
want to
nothing.
pat I just want to pat myself on the shoulder. And I went to Eddyville in 2020 and won that trophy
Yeah.
at the Fuel Ultra Nationals. Just bragging on that.
Yeah. Got anything else,
There's
Robbie?
4 Wallies over here.
Yeah, don't worry about those.
The
volleys.
2 of them are special edition. They're silver.
Yeah.
You notice that?
No, what?
Silver.
What? Yeah, that's cool.
Silver.
Yeah, and the other
I
one,
won
those
them
super quick.
back-to-back
Are those
weekends.
super
Super
quicks?
quick.
Cool. The
All
gold
4
ones.
of them are.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
first one's 2003. I won at a special invitational race at Wind Hollow for Jeg Super Quick. That was my first Wally. And I won it at home.
Well, what we're going to probably have to do then is you're just going to have to, because one thing that you do is sometimes on Facebook, you'll write up like a narrative of your weekend, and you do a really good job about
Yeah.
that. So maybe I'm going to have,
I'm behind a little bit.
maybe what we'll need to do is in the future we'll get a segment going of you get to tell us a story. You know, just real quick, like a
Real quick. I don't do nothing real quick.
a
That's-
5 to 10 minute story.
That's a lie.
Yeah, I know it's a lie. But a 5 or 10 minute little story, because you do a really good job of describing or hitting the points where it's interesting to listen to. So maybe in the future we'll do something like that. That'd be cool. Maybe during the season next year. Be fun.
All right. We can look into that.
Yeah. All right,
Send you a
Robbie.
bill.
We have to eventually end this thing, or we'll just be here all night. We appreciate it
Yeah.
again. We're gonna mute your mic so you can't talk to us no more. we're gonna finish this out. But you're more than welcome to watch to finish it if you'd
All
like.
right. Chris, thank you very much for
Hey,
everything.
yeah,
Appreciate
thank you, man. It's been a pleasure hearing you and seeing you on here, man. Especially with the nice headset and the
Yeah.
Christmas ornament.
The headset's really what sets it off.
Yes.
I kept
Turquoise
the
headset.
receipt. I'll take them back. It's just $5.
All right, Robbie. We'll see you.
Corey,
buddy.
thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate you.
See you, Robbie.
See you guys.
All right.
All right.
Man.
So we have the Would You Rather already finished. So we got some viewer mail, huh?
Yeah, so actually it's 3 comments as I was going to say here, and I'll just say them real quick. Mom watched our episode or listened to it, and we talked about my toe issue. She says, "Son, take that toe to the doctor." Well, it's too late for that.
I think she should. I think you should, buddy.
I should have when it happened, but
Yeah.
not now. I mean, it's too late for that. And this one was actually directed towards you. This is from our good friend Vern Griffith, teammate. He says, "Have you really thought about having Corey in the house all the time? You might want to rethink that."
Yeah, I don't think my wife really thought that one through.
Yeah, that's from the wife's episode.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's got into her if she decided to have me in the house all the time. It'd be a problem.
Yeah. And lastly, Bel Air 655 just says, Great show, guys. Can't wait for next season to start, and he means racing season.
Yes.
And we are fresh out of 2023, so we got a good 5-6 months to go.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come either, but also we needed a little bit of downtime to get our program up to snuff. So
Yes.
we got a few changes we're going to make, and we're excited to get those done.
changes. Yeah, some big changes, actually.
So make sure Bel Air 655. You stay tuned into the Blood Brothers Racing channel for all the updates.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And everybody, make sure if you have any questions or comments that you either can comment below or wherever you hear us, comment there. Also, you can write us at linelockedpodcast@gmail.com. And we will respond either on the air or via reply. And, there's our outro music.
Yeah.
I guess that means we're done. Did you hear that? Okay.
I thought you were pointing at
I
it.
was pointing at it. Okay. All right. So I am Chris.
And I'm Corey.
And we are
Line Locked. We can never get it right.
Never get it. Well, we blew that one. Anyways, take care, guys.